Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting.
Nintendo.
You too will come to understand fear as I have.
Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Let's Play with me, your host, Tim. And today, we're going to go down to the options menu to get to a different tune here for the main menu. And then, we're going to start playing through Eternal Darkness together, after I chat with you guys a little bit about the game before we get going. We're going to talk a little bit about what type of game Eternal Darkness is, why we're playing it, any special Tim-related things that I'll be doing as we play this game together. And of course, if I've played this game before and how far I got in it, assuming that I had done so. If you don't care about any of this chat, this video will be segmented so you can skip ahead to where we actually start playing the game in case you want to just jump past this prep. There is, to my knowledge, a little bit of tutorial, but it's mostly going to be the first time we encounter some new mechanic in the game, and it will then describe how to do those various things. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Eternal Darkness Sandy's Requiem was a no, it wasn't first-person game. It was a survival horror game made for the GameCube back in, my goodness, the early 2000s, if I recall correctly. Our story will follow several different key protagonists as they adventure through the game world and, well, stop the antagonist from doing the thing that he wants to do. I would risk ruining some of how this story plays out if I say any more than that. The gameplay of it will have us controlling the character in a type of Resident Evil-ish way, with, I believe, tank controls and somewhat fixed camera angles, although they do move around occasionally, swinging around, zooming out, or zooming in, depending upon the room that we are in. I have played this game before, but it has been a very, very, very long time since I have fired this game up. Not since I think like 2003 or 4 or so was the last time I had seen that introduction video viewer. That said, I did beat this game twice, a long time ago. This means that I didn't see the true ending, because you have to beat the game 3 times to see the very optional ending cutscenes / statements that are made. But I do remember almost everything about this game. This was an amazing game, I thought, for the time. Although there were some bits of it that I did not like. For the most part, I guess let's go ahead and clear the air a little bit and talk about, really quick, some criticism I have of the game before we get going, because by far and large, I loved almost everything about this game. The very end of the game is a little bit grindy, the final dungeon. I did not like it all that much, and once you get to a certain part in the game, about 1/3 of the way in, maybe 1/4 of the way in, the game becomes rather easy due to you being able to recover any of the stats you need by casting certain spells, once you have access to certain runes, we shall say. A great amount of the fun from Eternal Darkness comes from what happens as you go insane, which can be easily countered by simply restoring your sanity when you get access to the option to do this. In any case, I've got some special Tim stuff to talk about with you guys for Eternal Darkness. So, as usual, when I play games like this, you guys know by now, I like walking everywhere, but there will be a few times when running makes a lot of sense in this game, so I will be doing that on occasion. I like reading everything, so I'll be doing that as well. Although the game is voiced, not everything we examine will be voiced, so I will read everything that is not so. There will be some autopsies that we will get later on, which will let us talk about the creatures that we examine, and I don't remember if those are voiced or not, but I'll go ahead and read those. This is, of course, a horror game, and so during the creepy or horror parts of it, I will keep my talking to a minimum, but most of this will actually be combat oriented, and I will be chatting with you guys, or try to, as combat occurs. Combat is in real time, once again, similar to like a Resident Evil-ish type of game, and so, well, expect some amount of banter with the creatures as I'm fighting them. But I will also try to keep this somewhat serious, and there is some amount of backtracking in some areas of this game. I will try to talk a little bit about my thoughts about what is going on during those parts of the game. As I mentioned just a minute or two ago, the game becomes a little easy once you're able to recover your sanity. And the less sanity you have, the more crazy things become. I am going to try to play the game, keeping my sanity at about the halfway point, maybe a little lower, we will see. A problem with the sanity, the way it worked in this game, if I can remember correctly, is that when things drain your sanity, if you have no sanity left, then those things drain your life. And you can die very quickly in this game if you have no sanity at all. So unfortunately, we can't just play without any. We gotta have some, and I need to maintain it up a little bit. But it will be some time before we have to worry about that, and we can kind of call the shot on what we want to do when we get that far. There's a lot of text to read in this game. I'll be reading all of it. Just a heads up as well. 2 more things, guys, before we get going. I'm going to record only one Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem before I record the second one, because I want you guys to leave feedback in case my audio levels are set incorrectly and or the brightness levels for the game aren't correct. I can see everything fine, and I think my voice is coming out fine with the game, but I'm not sure what's going to happen when we actually start the game itself. So let's go ahead and check a few things with you guys on screen. This is my current volume level. I think it's acceptable. And for the brightness, this is probably not. So I'm going to... I can see everything perfectly fine here. Everything looks great. But I think that when I upload the video, YouTube's going to make it a bit darker, and you guys might struggle to see anything. Normally I do this off screen, but for games which I want it to be dark, it tends to be a little too dark when I upload it to YouTube. So I'm going to raise the brightness a tad, and we'll see how it comes out for... Maybe we should put a little more. Let's do this bright, and we'll see if this is acceptable to you guys. Oh, and we should turn the subtitles on. Alright. I think that's everything, everyone. Let me put another cut here really quick. Okay, and we should be good to go. I just have to remember how to play the game. There may be another cut, so I can at least try to figure out what some of the controls are. But we'll try to limit that. Alright. Well, let's get started.
Flesh, bone, bound together with the oddest magical incantation. This wretched book is where it all began so long ago. Before time, before humanity. I am Dr. Edward Roivas. I am a clinical psychologist. I am also dead. This is not my story, nor even the story of the Roivas family. It is the story of humanity. Like it or not, believe it or not, as you will. Your perceptions will not change reality, but simply color it. Humanity has been on the edge of extinction for 2 millennia, ignorant of so much and dependent on so few. The Guardians grow restless. Their time once again near. Whether by fate or misfortune, my family has crossed their path, and they didn't take kindly to it. Their attention turns to my granddaughter, for she is the last of my line, and the last hope for humanity. Remember me, Alex?
Hello?
Miss Alexandra Roivas?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Inspector LeGrasse of the Rhode Island Police. I'm sorry to disturb you, but there's been an accident with your grandfather.
I'll be on the next flight out.
Ah, Miss Roivas. I'm pleased to meet you. I trust you had a pleasant trip?
Yes, I suppose so, considering.
Yes, my condolences. This is most unpleasant. It's a shame we couldn't meet under brighter circumstances.
Yes, it is. Can we get this over with, please?
Of course. This way. But I must warn you, it's not a pleasant sight. I'm afraid there's not much to see. Miss Roivas, is that your grandfather, Edward?
Yes, it's him. He's wearing our family ring. I don't understand. Why are you showing me this? Can't you check dental records or something? What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry. It's my job, lady. You're the only living relative, and no, we can't check dental records. There's no head. None of this makes sense. There's no sign of intrusion, and there was certainly a lot of force used here. I have never seen anything like this in my 20 years on the force. We have no evidence except for the body, and what's left doesn't say much. Ugh, we don't have a single clue.
Well, you better find out who did this. I'm not leaving Rhode Island until you do. There must be some clue in this old mansion revealing what happened. I want answers.
So do I. I wish I had some.
Shocked by her grandfather's mysterious death and frustrated at the incompetence of the local police, Alex vows to uncover the truth. She decides to search the mansion, the place where Edward conducted his research. If there was a tie to his past, and possibly a tie to his murderer, it would be here. Alright, everyone. Let me go ahead and... Oh, I know. We're going to explore the mansion without figuring out how to use the controls. A beautiful carriage clock. The hands appear to be stuck, yet the clock continues to tick, with the time permanently set to 3:33. There's a key in the back of the clock, presumably for winding it. Should Alex look at the key? Alex picks up the desk clock and pulls the key from it. However, there is something odd about the key. It isn't for winding it at all. It looks like a dresser key. Portraits of the ancestral Roivas line in the foyer walls. Line the foyer walls. Their faces reveal a dark, brooding edge. There's something about each one that gives the viewer an unsettling feeling. I think he's sitting in a chair and has a cane in his left hand. I don't recognize what's behind him. I thought it a bit odd, even my first time playing, that the detective would try to hit on her, as it were. That was rather unprofessional. I could have sworn he also smirked when she began to cry. The last weak rays of sunlight fight the shroud of darkness. It lends an eerie feel to the last few weeks' events. As the sun sets, Alex will be alone in this house, with nothing but the spirits of old for company. The call of the mansion beckons to Alex, drawing her back to uncover the family secrets it hides. Alex will not leave till she has learned what happened to her grandfather. The sunset outside a mansion always reminds me of the first Alone in the Dark video game. I'm going to skip tutorial messages. I don't think we should read those, but I will go ahead and see if I can look at these keys a bit more. Appears to be the key to a chest of drawers or a dresser. This is the key to the second floor of the Roivas mansion. It looks very old and worn. I wonder how she got this. That looks a bit like us. Which I suppose it should, since we are of the same line. We are probably supposed to go to the second floor, which means that we'll wait to do that last and take a look and see if there's anything else around on the ground floor first. A grand piano stands here, awaiting the hands of a decent musician. Unfortunately, Edward never really lived up to that description, and, as such, the piano fell into disuse. Oh, wow. I remember this. This is extraordinarily important to know, as this can make the game much easier for you or much more difficult if you do not understand what this is trying to tell you. The illustration features a collection of strange line designs related to each other in a cyclical manner. There appears to be some significance to it, but it isn't particularly evident. The table was set for one, Alex's grandfather. Edward's private nature meant that he never had many visitors, and this is the lonely evidence of it. Sounds a lot like me. I immediately fell in love with her because she shuts doors behind her as she opens them. Something that I too am a fan of. In between each of the chapters of this game, we're going to want to explore every bit of the mansion to see if anything else has revealed itself to Alex, by the way. A wooden plaque is fastened to the door, taking the place of a lock. A colored sigil is carved into the wood above a wide slot. The slot is just wide enough to insert a narrow blade. Note the color of the symbol. It looks violet to me, or purple. I remember everything about this. I remember what we do there. This is amazing. I wonder if it's creepier with the music or if it would be creepier without it, knowing that you're all alone in this house. In the warm glow of candlelight, the Roivas family tree hangs from the wall. Shadows flitter across its surface, obscuring the detail. If one looks closely, the family's secrets are revealed. I think that's a hint. I absolutely love the hanged man on the Roivas family tree. I don't think my family tree has anything like that in its diagram. This is where the body was found. Or I thought it was. The looming grandfather clock seems to stand ominously in the corner, gazing on this empty room with an almost patriarchal air. We can adjust its hands if we want to, but we should investigate the rest of this place first. I already suspect that we should put 333 there on the clock. You spent a lot of time reading. I wonder if Alex knows what Edward was actually researching. I think that's where we came in from. We need a lever of some sort. It looks like a knob to turn the telescope up or down. We can only turn it left or right at this moment. And since we have no clue what we're supposed to look at, I think it's pointless for us to actually interact with it at this moment. Recall the title screen. That will be important as we go forward. A brass-framed mirror is set into the wall. The mirror's direction can be adjusted by means of two crankshafts set below it. A curious device. Is it related to the telescope in some way? Okay, so one of them's on the telescope, the other is there. But still, we don't know quite why we want to interact with it, so we will not do so. This door is locked. Alright. I'm guessing we don't have the key for that. Okay, so there is a run button. Sorry, everyone, but I need to begin understanding how the controls work, since this is the first time I'm walking around this mansion in 20 years. This door is locked. The key comes apart from the lock. The key to the second floor is broken. Perhaps there's a way of repairing it. The upstairs door is locked, and Alex has broken the key. The key must be repaired somehow before the door can be unlocked with it. And she doesn't look like she's incredibly strong, so she probably can't force the door open. Well, then the only thing we can do at this moment, unless I've missed something, is interact with that one door. The clock, sorry. It would help if I... Wait. Which... Oh, it was this door. No, it was not. I've already forgotten where the library is. This is the library, isn't it? Where it goes into the library? It does not. I guess while I'm walking around, we can talk a little bit about a handful of other things. Alex looks like a friend of mine that I had back in college, whose name was Alicia. I may accidentally call her that once or twice. I'm guessing she has kept the fireplace going. Okay, it's not on this side. Really? I thought... Oh, I'm just dumb. So then this is a library. I was just in this, wasn't I? Yes, I was. Okay. I wonder if we'll be able to tell what the different book collections will be going forward. All right. We're going to assume that this opens when the clock is manually adjusted as opposed to automatically. You wouldn't want someone discovering this room normally. This was one of the first games I remember seeing facial expressions of shock, horror, or what have you in it. I think they did a great job on this. The book is obviously what the game wants me to take a peek at, so let's examine everything else first. Candles and 2 stones. A small shrine of candles. Their placement appears to be very deliberate, matching the etchings on the table and the wall's illustration. The candles are unlit. Oh, I remember this. A diabolic drawing of a stack of human bodies, each one cemented into place. What twisted psyche could have executed this drawing? Though disturbing, it is meticulously rendered down to the subtlest detail. The precise anatomy of the fractured bones and the convolutions of spines and ribs entwine into a mesmerizing sight. An ancient Roman weapon, a gladius, is on display above the fireplace mantel, another token of eclectic junk. This is a bizarre drawing of a cyclopean city, its immense architecture bathed in unnatural fog. The detail is incredible. As Alex studies it, she can almost imagine the city's inhabitants. A painting of a jungle-shrouded building. It seems to be a temple in Asia, perhaps from Thailand or Cambodia. This looks like some kind of mask. The face is serene in composure, with a faint hint of a smile tugging at the corners of the mouth and eyes, closed in deep meditation. This Gothic cathedral is silhouetted against a stark light. The image is vicious and devoid of subtlety. Every brushstroke echoes the spikes of the architecture, imbuing a violent feeling, as though the building itself is a harsh imposition of reality. A grim picture indeed. An aged page set inside a glass frame hangs on the wall. An insane scribbling covers the page, incomprehensible to Alex. Perhaps if Alex had some kind of tome, it could be deciphered. A large leather-bound antique book rests upon the cluttered desk.
I had no knowledge of what was to come, nor did I care. How the knowledge changed me, it will also change you. As you read this, you will come to learn fear as I have. You too will come to understand, or you will perish. To think that once I could not see beyond the veil of our reality. To see those who dwell behind. My life now has purpose, for I have learned the frailty of flesh and bone. I was once a fool. Where is quies candamest? Where is conservandi?
Facusatis aquae sumat, et animus eorum conferma. Pupna huis, dia sit modo prima multarum, si inceptum conficiamus.
Quam primum, Centurio Augustus. I would like to compliment you once more on your battle tactics. Our enemies did not have a chance. Do you believe that it really exists, Centurion?
I do not doubt our Emperor's beliefs, or his orders. But if we are to retrieve the artifact, then we must be strong and patient.
Come to us, pious Augustus.
All right, everyone. The game will see us playing a series of different characters throughout it. I was about to say, I probably shouldn't say much about who we're going to play and why we're playing them or anything of the sort, but we will follow Alex only part of the time in this game. As we read the book, more information will become available to us, and we will follow the people it is describing. A ladder leading down. I do not believe there is any first-person view in this game, so we'll be following our controlled characters. It wouldn't be right to call everyone we play a protagonist or an antagonist. Okay. Let's go ahead and proceed down. There's no way back out for poor Pius. He's been teleported someplace. A ladder leads into the dank heart of the labyrinth. Danger lurks beneath, yet Pius's courageousness resolve does not buckle. I like that I would pause as I see these creatures, since we are, after all, reading this book, of what happened to Pius. It makes sense in a way that Alex would pause as these things are described, given the nightmare she had a few weeks ago. But absolutely amazing looking zombies, effectively, these things could be. Thankfully, these ones are dead. portions of it are wrong, or rather are correct. I love how skinny it looks. It's very horrific looking. Sorry, everyone. I have to get used to the controls a little bit. The finish them button is different than the attack button is. You can target different parts of the creature's body by moving the control stick around. To do so, once you have targeting mode enabled. A strange granite block lies on the floor. I didn't realize they came in giant sizes like that. Another granite block. Interestingly, we don't have to kill these creatures if we don't wish to. Oops, that was a thing to do. Though I'm glad it happened. I guess they can't actually bite me. Another granite block. Blue in color. Red, blue, and green. Interesting. Red, I only right now realize, many years later. But don't red, green, and blue make up the colors that we're aware of? The majority of them. This time I'm going to eliminate all the creatures here. On the off chance we have to come back here for some reason. You get a zoom in, I think, when you kill the last creature with the finish them move. We'll talk more about that later on. The game's going to explain how finishing moves work later and how important it is that you actually do so. Based on his positioning, we can tell there's another hostile here someplace. 4 symbols in the giant room. 4 zombies. At least 4 of them. Dodge there behind us. A hit there. Apparently without arms, they won't bite me, which I do like. But I feel it's a bit unfair. The bodies, as you can see, will fade if you don't finish them anyway. But there's a very good reason why we'll want to do that, though perhaps we don't have to worry about it at this moment. And the 4th purple symbol. Can we take it? It would seem to me that the symbols are supposed to be placed into these spots. This is a sharp-edged block of granite, etched on one side with a curious line design, filled with purple and tainted by black shadow. I guess we should read all of these, unless they're the same. This one's colored with a ghostly blue. Insipid green. And blood red. This wall is primarily decorated with a strange line symbol carved into the granite. Cut into the wall is a square hole lined with scratches, as though something had been removed from it. I remember most of the puzzles in this game being rather simple to decipher, and a few, maybe like 3 of them, actually a bit tricky. Oops, I didn't need to do this. Oh, how about it? Good thing we went this way first. Are there any strange engravings anywhere for anything for us to look at? Doesn't look like it. Interesting that the creatures just vanish after they're defeated. Makes you wonder if they're real at all, or just some sort of illusionary monsters, or something in Panos' mind. Though it would be a bit odd that he's creating these. I'm imagining as a Roman centurion, he probably hasn't fought very many things like them before. Oops, sorry about that, sir. That was good to know. Our weapon will be... we have to worry about hitting walls with weapons. At least melee ones. Pius. You must prove your worth by destroying this statue. Oh, I didn't realize I could just swing randomly. Okay, so this is teaching me how to attack different body parts. Okay, and that tells me how to cycle through multiple enemies. And we have to actually take this apart. Perhaps a bit more symbolic than just a tutorial. Destroyed everything that we were made of, I suppose. Ooh. Oh, that's gonna be really bad, because they're gonna be right there. Oh! Okay, that worked out. I don't think we want any of these creatures existing here. Pius doesn't strike me as the type who would be scared of these things, either. This is just matter of fact for him. This is just comes with the territory of being a soldier and exploring something, I think. I wonder, since these monsters exist, I wonder if other monsters existed for these people back in this time frame. Maybe Pius has fought things like this before. A button attached to a small pylon softly illuminates the room. Bizarre energy seems to radiate from it. The ring of this looks very much like what was left where Pius had been earlier when he was teleported down into this labyrinth. Let's assume this is a teleporter, not something that will just destroy him. It even has some columns around it, or pillars, similar to what we saw in the desert. Alright everyone, we have a very important decision to make here. Can I save the game here? Because a part of me is tempted to stop here and ask you guys which of these we should touch. I can't. If I leave this place, can I save above this? I can't. Alright, then I need to decide now which of these I'm pressing. There are some incredible differences. Things are the same, but things are also quite different depending upon which of these that you press. I think we will start with the one in front of us. Shaped like a delicate dome, a pale blue statuette floats gracefully above the pedestal. Should Pius claim this artifact?
Eons have passed since then, and I have learned much. All at once, I understood. The forces of the multiverse all made sense under the transcending power of Ulyath. No mountain too high, no city too far. Face me, and you shall surely perish.
Alex has acquired the Tome of Eternal Darkness. Well, that was a bit weird to read, I'm sure. And it doesn't put us any closer to discovering why our grandfather died. Although it seems odd that he has this room dedicated to that tome and all these other bits of occult paraphernalia in it. It also seems fitting that we would take this sword. Perhaps this is what Pius had used, if the book, of course, isn't just make-believe. So we'll take this now, I think. I think we'll take a look at it, but then we should wait to read the next chapter in the tome until I have a chance to hear back from you guys. I also think we should probably do a page an episode, so we're going to try to do or a chapter an episode, as it were. So we'll try to do that going forward. This is a gladius, the standard weapon of the Roman army, a short double-edged sword with a sharp triangular point. The gladius was designed primarily for hacking and chopping at the enemy, but could be used to pierce armor as well. Alright guys, so thank you for watching, hope it was fun, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. Once again, please let me know how my voice was coming out, and if the darkness levels are acceptable to you guys. Thanks again, and I will see you soon. Take care everyone.